News flash cycles are short, and the headlines that stick tend to be the simplest to tell. But when it comes to prenatal Tylenol and implications about vaccines, the story the press tells and the parts it leaves out reveal a lot about how media works. Reports linking acetaminophen use in pregnancy to later neurodevelopmental risk are tidy. A study shows an association, experts warn to be cautious, and the public can understand the takeaway quickly. It's a straightforward frame, a common drug, a scientific signal, a simple risk message, headline friendly. No mention that Tylenol breaks down the blood-brain barrier, allowing something else to wreak havoc on the brain. And what is that something else? Vaccines. They sit at the center of public health campaigns, powerful institutions, and intense political debate. For example, the COVID jab, even though it wasn't a vaccine, it was still called a vaccine, and the press won't talk about that. Pfizer and Moderna's mRNA vaccine has killed and will continue to kill millions. Nothing to see here. So they pick on some easy scapegoat drug like Tylenol and say that is the smoking gun linked to autism. Why? So as to deflect from the deadly vaccines in childhood, the deaths from the modified mRNA vaccine. It is all to misdirect and lie to us, to get us not looking where we should be. Think about it. They told us not to take Tylenol, blah, 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 yet never once said that about the modified mRNA jabs because they want to use mod mRNA for future injections. So, reporting on vaccines risks triggering alarm, undermining vaccination programs, impacting the bottom line of Pfizer or Moderna. For editors, that's a complicated risk to manage legally, ethically, and politically. Media outlets answer to audiences, advertisers, and regulators, covering claims that could be construed as anti-vaccine invites boycotts, fact-checking scrutiny, and heated online backlash. That commercial and reputational calculus encourages caution and sometimes silence on topics that might be messy or divisive. Must we wait for another manufactured catastrophic crisis as we are prevented from making our own basic personal decisions or accessing needed drugs and response tools? Yes, acetaminophen is a nasty chemical that prevents the body from removing toxins and heavy metals and breaks down the integrity of the blood-brain barrier. But vaccines are the smoking gun, yet the press is hesitant to broadcast pejorative information on vaccines because Big Pharma has captured the media and reporting about same is forbidden. So you get a paradox. The press amplifies a clear, manageable story about Tylenol while remaining comparatively muted about what was said about vaccines. That silence isn't always conspiracy, although it often is. Still, there is editorial caution, legal risk, and the difficulty of reporting on tangled, high-stakes science. This matters because selective coverage shapes public perception and policy. Responsible journalism should have reported on what was said about vaccines and why it was said, but the fact that the focus was on Tylenol is because Tylenol is safe for them to address, but taking about vaccines causes inconvenient questions to be asked. It could undermine the vaccine program itself, and if there was ever a sacred cow, it is the vaccine program, thanks to the complete capture of the FDA and the Infectious Disease Division of the CDC. So, the press focuses on the tidy Tylenol story because it's simple to tell and carries less immediate risk, while vaccine implications invite silence. Demand the truth, not headlines. Insist on data, not sound bites. That's how we keep the conversation honest and useful.